Ben Shapiro, aka the punching bag of the right wing. Literally, no one likes this guy. Not the right wing, and especially not the left wing. The only guys who like him are his employees from Daily Wire, his fellow brethren from Israel, and the gullible MAGA-tards who drew out of their mouth when chanting, "Our greatest ally!" Ben Shapiro, it's a walking oxymoron, or you could say, oxymoron! King of comedy! Now, is this video gonna be a 15-minute trash fest of Ben Shackelberg? And I'll say to you, yeah, pretty much. But it will not be unfounded. I'll not just trash him just for the sake of lols or because he's an easy target. I'm gonna bring evidence and expose his hypocrisy, his inconsistencies, his journalistic integrity, and how much hate he has for Christians, for Americans, and anyone who isn't a benefit for Israel or his interests. Disclaimer, if you think for a moment that I am a liberal or a progressive, if you watched any of my videos, you'll realize that my politics are a little to the right of Mussolini. Okay, without further ado, let's tear a new asshole for this manlet. As we've seen from the past 2 years by now, he fired Candace Owens when she dared to point out that the IDF is committing genocide in Gaza and when she dared to show solidarity with the Palestinian victims. A fact that the rest of the world is pretty aware of, except for Ben Shapiro, the IDF themselves, and most Jewish people worldwide. But hey, they are special people. Most rules don't apply to them. Lying and cheating is second nature to Ben Shapiro. Or most people in his ethno group. Let's check out how much contempt he has for Christianity and Jesus Christ.
Jewish point of view, where we don't believe in the divinity of Christ. I think that there you can make an argument that the Gospels, which were written...
He was just a prophet.
Right? No. We don't even believe he was a prophet.
What do you think he was? What do you guys think he was?
What do I think he was historically? I think he was a Jew who tried to lead a revolt against the Romans and got killed for his trouble. Just like a lot of other Jews at that time who were crucified for trying to lead revolts against the Roman and got killed for their trouble.
So he became legend in story, and it became a bigger and bigger deal as time went on.
Yeah, he had a group of followers, and then that gradually grew, and then
do you think he was resurrected?
No, that's not a Jewish belief.
Okay, I just want to check.
Yeah, no, we're not into
You're not
we're not into miracle stories. No, that's
no?
No.
You don't have any miracles?
No, not by Jesus. Right?
No?
They're ones in the Old Testament.
Ones?
Yeah, you've got Moses splitting the sea and all that.
Remember, guys, whenever a conservative cuckold is trying to defend Israel or those civilians, show them this video or show them this video with the average Israelis spitting on Catholic nuns in Jerusalem, or this video of the average Israeli explaining how much they loathe and despise Christianity and the crucifix. Fun fact, did you know that in Israel, for students during math class or physics class, they remove the lower leg of the plus symbol so it won't resemble a cross? Instead, it resembles a penis. Why am I not surprised since their rabbis do circumcision to their babies with their teeth? Barbarians. How about his blatant dismissal of truth?
Good evening, Mr. Shapiro. You have consistently promoted the idea that America was built on Judeo-Christian values. However, as a devout Christian, I have difficulty accepting the term, given Judaism's rejection of Jesus. Christians believe Jesus Christ is God. In contrast, the Talmud, a central Jewish holy book, teaches that Jesus is burning in hellfire and excrement. And while the New Testament tells us to love our enemies and pray for those who persecute us, Sovereign 15 of the Talmud states that even the best of the Gentiles should be killed. Given these irreconcilable differences, Why do you insist on using this oxymoronic term?
Okay, so first of all, that's a really bad read of the Talmud. Second of all, the notion that you can cite any text in support of the idea that Judaism broad writ is somehow disdainful or hateful of Christians or of people who are not Jewish is in fact a tremendous misread of Judaism over the centuries and particularly today.
How is it a horrible misreading of the Talmud when it says verbatim exactly that?
Okay, there were significant human rights predations against Christians on the ground, not only in the areas controlled by Sunni terrorists, but also in the areas that were controlled by Shia terrorists. Syria is about 10% Christian. Okay, so is it about to get worse? It definitely could, which would of course be a terrible thing. And then you have the question of what Bashar al-Assad was doing to the country, which is killing hundreds of thousands of people using everything up to and including chemical weapons. Well, he's gone now, and Israel has been striking a lot of the chemical weapons depots to prevent them from falling into the hands of the new rebel alliance over here. Okay, so, again, is any of this wonderful? It isn't. But the one thing that is an upside is that the Iranian crescent is dead. Okay, the Shia crescent that, again, stretched all the way from Iran all the way across to Lebanon, that is now dead. What does that mean? It means the Iranian regime is actually in quite real trouble here. All of their biggest proxies are gone. Hamas, gone. Hezbollah, gone. Assad, gone. That means the Shia influence game is beginning to wane. It's beginning to end. The Houthis are basically isolated down there in Yemen. The Shia regime in Iran still has impact in Iraq, but internally they are much, much, much weaker right now.
Oh yeah, sure, thousands of Christians will likely get killed by the rebel junta Israel installed in Syria, but let me tell you how that's actually a good thing. Bro, do you realize how much hate he has for Jesus Christ and Christians in general? Remember when he used an AI-generated picture to fool thousands of his gullible followers that Hamas were putting babies in ovens, and how it was proven to be an AI-modified picture of a puppy? Pepper Ridge Farm remembers. Remember when Charles Johnson, a guy who mysteriously had his account banned after this tweet where he said, and I quote, "I want to be fully on record that I saw Ben Shapiro receive tasking from Israeli intelligence connects to Netanyahu when I worked next to him at Breitbart.com. When I asked him about it, he said that he always kept close ties. It's time for Ben to register under FARA." Ooh la la, buddy! I guess you pissed off the wrong Mossad agent. Now check this out.
I would gladly waive the inborn USA requirement for presidency for Bibi.
Oh yeah, Mr. Netanyahu, please spray me with your kosher cum. Jesus Christ, can this guy be any more anti-American than this?
They say that I want America to fight wars for Israel. Nope. Nope. First of all, Israel can take care of herself. If Israel is forced to the wall, the possibility of nuclear exchange is extremely high. That is why it is very important that the United States provide the material aid to Israel.
I want you to die for Israel. And by the way, I don't give a good damn about that so-called browning of America. Color doesn't matter. Ideology does.
So, I think it's safe to say that he supports the H-1B1 visa program?
They talk about the USS Liberty incident. There have been multiple studies, U.S. Navy, Joint Chiefs of Staff, CIA, House, Senate, NSA. Most of the reports, according to historian Richard Brownell, do not assign culpability for the incident. They focus on communications failures. I have to say, I'm a little bit bewildered why you're so obsessed with an incident that is now 52 years old. If you have theories that are better than those of the American government, they've got operators standing by, feel free to dial them and tell them about your 5-decade-old theories about a military incident from the 1967 Six-Day War. It's of direct and vital interest now in 2019.
Oh yeah, that is why you can't shut up about a fairy tale that totally happened in the 40s? Come on, Ben, let it go. It was 80 years ago. This is why you fired Candace Owens for naming the cities and pointing out how Israel has been nothing than the greatest enemy for USA? Is this why you fired Brett Cooper, a typical tradcom bimbo with zero personality, because she went off the script and reposted some pro-Palestine tweets? Side note, have you noticed how eerily similar Brett Cooper looks to Ben Shapiro? They claim they're not related, so I think Brett Cooper is actually Ben Shapiro's clone? Dum dum dum. Bro, I've never seen someone so anti-free speech, anti-white, anti-Christian, and anti-American than Ben Shapiro in my entire life. Bro, not even communists from the Soviet Union during the Cold War were this anti-American than this man led.
The CCP is our enemy. TikTok is a Chinese app. It is designed to manipulate Westerners into parroting CCP propaganda while gathering all their data. If TikTok divests itself of Chinese ownership, it should continue to operate. If not, it should not.
Meanwhile, Ben Shackelberg with 3 million followers on TikTok. Alright, Ben. I really hate how China controls all USA's politicians and taking them to worship the wall of China. Man, those pesky Chi-coms interfering with our government. Arrgh.
Nobody wants to kill civilians. That's why war is bad, guys.
A few decades ago,
Enemy civilian casualties? Okay by me.
Ben Shapiro in 2002. Do you see how downright evil this man is? And you know what I think? I have no doubt in my mind that Ben Shapiro is a Mossad asset, perhaps a full informant, because remember when Elon posted numerous times that the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, should be banned, but then Ben Shapiro went on a little trip with him at this amusement park in Poland and showed him a few piles of shoes, and also most likely threatened him with something. Did you notice that Elon never spoke about the ADL ever since? That seems kinda suspicious. And also he did the similar thing with Trump. Speaking of which,
Tomorrow, the American resurgence begins. Hashtag Trump 2.
get the fuck out of here, you worm. You were a never-Trumper your whole career, but now you gotta kiss the orange man's ass, and maybe he'll give you a few shekels for that. Ben Shapiro is the lowest form of life on earth. He's a liar, anti-white, anti-American, anti-free speech, and an anti-Christian Zionist warmonger who wants Americans to die for his fake invented country in the Middle East that God gave to him 4,000 years ago. Besides that, he's also a coward. He will never debate anyone with opposite views than him in a fair debate. He will never be intellectually prepared to have a debate with, let's say, Nick Fuentes, Ian Carroll, Stu Peters, Ken O'Keefe, Dan Bilzerian, or me, because he's a coward. I think Ben Shapiro suffers from a deep sexual frustration, or a frustration regarding to his height or his manhood, because like a coward, he sits behind his big boy desk in his big boy chair, calling for the genocide of people in Gaza, calling for Americans to fight and die for his invented country, while he just sits in his chair and spews neocon propaganda. Ben is the very embodiment of the Judeo-Christian neocon warmonger establishment that is plaguing America for more than 80 years by now. And I think that talking at the speed of light like he does, it's a very good indication that he's a cuckold. A guy who deep down is very insecure about himself, and he tries to get his point across very fast to mask any errors in his propaganda. And I also noticed that most guys like him think that talking fast at the speed of light like this makes him sound intelligent. When in reality, you look like the most pathetic human being on the planet. And on top of that, he's a walking cringe machine. Just Just look at this.
Let's look at the stats. I've got the facts. My money like Lizzo, my pockets are fat. Homie, I'm epic. Don't be a whack.
Nah. Oh, and on top of that, check out every single video he has on YouTube and look at the like-dislike ratio. Bro, people don't like you. You are a scumbag who hates Christians, hates Americans, hates white people, and hates free speech, and your only allegiances are to your fake invented country back in the Middle East and your pockets. That's it! The only ones who still follow and listen to Ben Shapiro are either neocon NPCs with a room temperature IQ, his employees who are Shabos Goy's ass kissers, or gullible boomers who thankfully will soon bite the dust. Another Jew buys the dust. I mean... Bro, boomers fucked up the world like no other generation in history. You know, Ben, what's the difference between you and me? Is that I admit that I'm a horrible man. I'm not a good Christian, not a good role model to follow. I try to be. God knows I try to be. The difference between you and me is that I'm honest about myself. You see yourself as holier than thou. You are perfect. And your IDF army and your fake invented state never did anything wrong. And you know what? This will be your downfall. Arrogance and vanity. And it's so satisfying to see that young people who were once conservatives and now they are radicalized because of you. They don't give a shit about what you have to say anymore. And it's so satisfying seeing your career going down with a whimper. Anyway, if you want to watch me have an aneurysm while criticizing Jordan Peterson, watch it here. And if you liked my style,
subscribe, you silly Billy.